in enhancing the PowerPoint skills for project presentation in adherence to the expectations of performance indicators. Before starting your project presentation, you all should know on what basis your project presentation is going to be evaluated. I am going to say the performance indicators used for assessing your project presentation. After discussing about the rubrics, I also will show a model PowerPoint presentation. These are the contents of my session: connecting program outcomes to assessment, performance indicators and rubrics, sample project presentation, and highlights about this session. Any assessment in OBE is based on the performance indicators, which I have mentioned here as PI. Totally, we have 12 program outcomes. Each program outcome will have many performance indicators. In this session, I am going to discuss about the performance indicators measured only in your project presentation. The first performance indicator is 8.2.2, which is examine and apply moral and ethical principles to known case studies. You may be wondering what is 8.2.2. It is present in the examination reform policy of AICTE. 8.2.2 is the performance indicator for measuring the competency 8.2 of the program outcome 8, which is ethics. That is, apply ethical principles and commit to professional ethics and responsibilities and norms of the engineering practice. So when you are formulating a problem definition, definitely you would have come across a base paper, or you might have referred some existing works from the literature. So in that case, it is your responsibility to refer that paper and give a proper citation for that referred content. Suppose if you are copying a figure. So for example, here, this rubrics I have copied, this performance indicator, I have copied from the document of examination reform policy of AICTE. So I have mentioned the courtesy. So likewise, if you are copying any figure, it is your responsibility to give a reference and a citation for the copied content. Suppose as such contents, if you are copying, then you should paraphrase it and you have to include that in your project presentation. So whatever may be the content, the figure, or any existing techniques you are using in your project presentation should be properly cited. If you are going to do in such a way that in your project presentation, it is considered to be excellent and you will be given 3 marks. If reference or citation is provided for all used articles and you have not any paraphrasing for the copied contents, it will be considered as good and you will be given 2 marks. If reference or citation is provided only for few used articles in your project presentation, is considered to be fair and you will be given 1 mark. If no reference or citation for the used articles is given in your project presentation, is considered to be not satisfactory and you will be awarded 0 mark. So this is the rubrics for the performance indicator 8.2.2. Here I am not discussing about 8.2.1 because it is the performance indicator for measuring your project documentation. Since this session I am focusing only for measuring your project presentation, I am going to discuss only about 8.2.2. So this is the rubrics for 8.2.2. The next performance indicator for measuring your project presentation is 9.3.1, which is present results as a team with smooth integration of contributions from all individual efforts. 9.3.1 is a performance indicator for measuring the competency 9.3 of the program outcome 9, which is individual and teamwork. That is, function effectively as an individual and as a member or leader in diverse teams and in multidisciplinary setting. As a team of two, when you're doing a project presentation, both the team members should give an equal contribution towards your presentation. If only one person is doing the presentation and other person is not involved in your presentation, is considered to be not satisfactory and you will be awarded 0 mark. If both the students are doing equal contribution towards your project presentation, is considered to be fair and you will be given 1 mark. If both the team members are given equal contribution for project presentation, but in question answer session only one student is responding, it is considered to be good and you will be awarded 2 marks. If both the team members are equally involved in project presentation as well as in question answer session, is considered to be good, excellent, and you will be awarded 3 marks. So this is the way we will be measuring the performance indicator 9.3.1 of your project presentation. Next performance indicator is 10.1.3. So once again, 10.1.1, 10.1.2 are for your project documentation. So 10.1.3 is for measuring your project presentation, which is create flow in a document or presentation, a logical progression of ideas so that the main point is clear. 10.1.3 is a performance indicator for measuring the competency 10.1 of the program outcome 10, which is communication. That is, communicate effectively on complex engineering activities with the engineering community and with the society at large, such as being able to comprehend and write effective reports and design documentation, make effective presentations, and give and receive clear instructions. Normally, everyone will like to listen to stories. Do you know why? It has got a good logical progression. One event followed by the other event. So one event will be linked with the other event. Likewise, when you are doing a project presentation, one slide should be linked with the other slide. Suppose if you are starting with the introduction slide, the next should be a literature survey. A literature survey should be followed by a literature summary. Likewise, one slide should be having a correlation to the next slide. So this is the logical progression. If your presentation is following a good logical progression and a novel sequence is followed, and if the audience is easy to follow, it is considered to be excellent and you will be awarded 3 marks. Most of the information presented in logical order and easy to follow is considered to be good and you will be awarded 2 marks. With utmost difficulty, if the audience and the examiners can able to follow your presentation due to erratic topical shifts and jump, is considered to be fair and you will be given 1 mark. If we could not able to follow your presentation, is considered to be not satisfactory and you will be given 0 mark. So this is the rubric for the performance indicator 10.1.3. Next performance indicator for measuring your project presentation is 10.2.1. That is, listen to and comprehend information, instructions, and viewpoint of others. This 10.2.1 is for measuring the competency 10.2 of the program outcome 10, which is communication. That is, communicate effectively on complex engineering activities with the engineering community and with the society at large, such as being able to comprehend and write effective reports and design documentation, make effective presentations, and give and receive clear instructions. When you're doing the project presentation, if you're not listening and not responding to the audience or the examiners, it is considered to be not satisfactory and you will be given 0 marks. If you listen to the question and respond to the question, but not with a confidence, is considered to be fair and you will be given 1 mark. If you listen to the questions and response to the questions and comments well, is considered to be good and you will be awarded 2 marks. Listens to the questions patiently and responds to the questions and comments confidently gives as excellent and you will be given 3 marks. So this is the performance indicator 10.2.1. So the next performance indicator for measuring your project presentation is 10.2.2. That is, deliver effective oral presentations to technical and non-technical audiences. This performance indicator 10.2.2 is for measuring the competency 10.2 of program outcome 10, once again communication. When you're doing the project presentation, if you're mispronouncing the terms and if you're using inappropriate vocabulary and with little eye contact and with little expression, is considered to be not satisfactory and you will be given 0 mark. If occasionally mispronouncing the terms and usage of appropriate vocabulary with little eye contact and with little expression is considered to be fair and you will be given 1 mark. When your voice is clear at a proper level and most of the words are pronounced correctly and with some eye contact, and if it is clearly understandable by the technical audience only, is considered to be good and you will be given 2 marks. So when you are doing the project presentation, it should reach even the non-technical audience. So when you are starting with the introduction, you should give the basics used in your project presentation so that even the non-technical audience sitting will understand what the terminology is and they can able to follow your project presentation. So always you start from the basics and start explaining your project presentation in detail so that it will reach both technical and non-technical audiences with clear voice, with correct pronunciation, with good eye contact, and with utmost confidence you have to present your project presentation, which will be evaluated as excellent and you will be given 3 marks. So this is the rubrics for the performance indicator 10.2.2. Next performance indicator for measuring your project presentation is 10.3.1, which is create engineering standard figures, reports and drawings to complement writing and presentations. This 10.3.1 is for measuring your competency 10.3 of the program outcome 10, which is communication. Definitely you will be using figures and tables in your presentation. So in that case, it should follow the format. The figures and tables should adhere to the standard format. If it is not followed, it is considered to be not satisfactory and you will be given 0 mark. If marginally adhering to the format is considered to be fair and you will be given 1 mark. So when you are including a figure or table, definitely there will be a minimum value, there will be a maximum value. So that inference, if you are going to write below the figures and tables at all places, is considered to be good and you will be given 2 marks. Apart from including the inference, if you could able to write the physical interpretation also for all the figures and tables in your project presentation is considered to be excellent. Suppose if you are getting a minimum value for one method and maximum value for another method, you should give a justification. why this particular method is bringing a minimum value, why this particular method is bringing a maximum value. So likewise, apart from the inference, if you could be able to write the physical interpretation also for each and every figures and tables adhering to the format also is considered to be excellent, and you will be given 3 marks. So this is the rubrics for the performance indicator 10.3.1. So next is the performance indicator 10.3.2, which is use a variety of media effectively to convey a message in a document or a presentation. This 10.3.2 is for measuring the competency 10.3 of the program outcome 10, which is once again communication. So in your presentation, if you're going to include an audio video demonstration at each and every module of your project, is considered to be excellent, and you will be awarded 3 marks. If a single audio video demonstration at the end, if you're going to include, is considered to be good, and you will be given 2 marks. If you're given only video demonstration and not audio, it is considered to be fair, and you will be given 1 mark. If audio and video aids are not used in your project presentation, is considered to be not satisfactory, and you will be given 0 mark. So this is the performance indicator for 10.3.2. So now I will show a model presentation with which you can able to easily understand. So this is the title slide of the presentation. So if you take any project presentation, the first should be your title slide. In your title slide, 3 important things you should take care. So first one is your title, and next it should be followed with the team members. In team members, your register number also you have to include, and it should be followed with the guide name. So when I am saying guide name, for each and every guide name, before the name, you should include a title. So here, if I am saying title, it means if that particular staff has completed the doctorate, you have to include doctor. If they are pursuing means, then you can write Mr., Miss, or Mrs. So likewise, if you're writing a staff name, definitely you should include a title before that staff name, and followed by the qualification. If they have completed their doctorate, you can include PhD. If they are pursuing their PhD, you can put PhD bar. So likewise, when you're writing the staff name, before you write the title, after the staff name, you write the qualification. So after this, you should give their designation like assistant professor, associate professor, professor. So likewise, you have to mention the designation, and it should be followed with the department name. Actually here, since ma'am is the dean, I have written School of Electrical and Electronics. For other faculty members, you are supposed to write the department name. If the staff is from ECE, you have to include as Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. If it is ETC staff, you should include as Department of Electronics and Telecommunication. So likewise, the guide which department where he belongs, you have to include in the after the designation. It should be followed with the Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. So these are the 3 things you have to follow in the title slide. It should be followed by the content slide. So always, already I said, there should be a logical progression in your presentation. So on seeing the contents, the examiners and the audience definitely will understand whether a logical progression, that is a link, is provided between each and every slide. You see, I have started from the introduction. It was followed by a literature survey. Then it is followed by a literature summary. Then the objectives. So likewise, till after conclusion, the references. What are the references I have made for this project report? So likewise, a logical progression should be followed throughout your slide and it can be reflected in your contents. So before preparing a project presentation or documentation, first you concentrate on the content. So what are the contents you are going to include? In which way you are going to take your presentation. Likewise, first you decide the contents and then you start preparing your project presentation. Next is the introduction. Already I said, so your presentation should be in such a way that it should reach even the non-technical audiences. So if I am saying WSN, we people will know WSN is wireless sensor networks. Suppose if non-technical students are sitting, then they will not know what is they may not know what is WSN. So in that case, in the introduction, you should say what is WSN. So what are the applications? So likewise, from the basics of your project, you have to include in your introduction so that your project may even reach the non-technical audiences. And this introduction should be followed by the literature survey. That is, you have collected some base papers or you might have referred some existing methods from the website. So those has to be collected and the comparison should be made. So these many authors have done these many works under these topics. So these are the drawbacks they are having. So likewise, we have to compare what are the performance metrics they have used. So likewise, from the literature, we have to make a comparison analysis. So for that, you have to make a literature summary. So if you see in this table, the first row, I have taken a paper written by P. Kumar and Lugatkar, and it got published in 2015. So this technique, the method what they have adopted, I have referred. So I have included their name as citation. So the same way, I have not copied their contents. Instead, I have paraphrased and I have referred what are the methods they have used, what are the features they have done, what is the final remarks they have arrived. So likewise, for that particular paper, I have written the contents. So I have mentioned the citation also. If you see the next row, I have mentioned as Cardinal et al. Suppose if a particular paper was having more than 5 or more than 3 authors, in that case, no need to write the entire author list in your citation. It is enough if you are going to write the first author name followed by et al. Et al means and others. And in the reference session, you have to give the entire list. But if the number of authors is less than 3, all the 3 names you have to mention in this author list inside your project presentation. So likewise, you have to do a literature comparison from the website. So next is also a literature survey. If you see, literature survey continued. So if more than 2 slides, more than 1 slide is having the same title, in that case, you have to give a continued word. So that continued also a standard format you follow. Here I have followed CONPD. So likewise, if third is also a literature survey, third also I will give as literature survey continued. So likewise, a same heading is repeating for more than 1 slide. You have to give an extension continued. Likewise, you can give the title for the table. So here some more references I have given, and it is mandatory to include the year of that particular paper published. So if your 2019-2020 batch, that is that duration, if you are doing the project, then it is better, it is well and good if you are going to refer papers in 2019. Even 2020 papers you can refer, so that the recent works done in the net we can able to get, and you'll have more idea about your project work. So that will be helpful. Literature survey should be followed by a literature summary. So whatever the existing works available in the literature, so that you have to condense and you have to put it in the literature summary. So what are the metrics they have used? What are the algorithms they have used in that particular technique? What are the drawbacks they are facing? So everything you have to summarize. this will lead to the formulation of your project definition. So that is the main aim for doing literature survey and literature summary. So whatever is available in the literature, you are collecting, you are finding out what are the metrics they are used, what are the drawbacks they are having. So in order to avoid those drawbacks, what new technology you are going to introduce, what new metrics you are going to include. So likewise, you will get one idea from the literature summary. So the end of the literature summary should be in such a way that you should project this necessitates a need for a new novel technique. So likewise, you have to put it at the end. So this is your literature summary. Definitely this should be followed by your problem definition, which is nothing but objectives. So when I'm saying objectives, don't write as paragraph. So no paragraph should be written in your project presentation. As points you project. If I'm saying points, once again maximum of 2 lines, that's all. So the main objective you mention, under that you give a detailed objectives. Suppose your project is having 4 modules, that 4 modules you give under the detailed objectives, and under each and every module, what is going to be your performance metric, what you are going to calculate, what is going to be a final, you are going to calculate energy or you are going to calculate accuracy. So likewise, in detailed objectives, what is your individual objective for each and every module should be mentioned. So this is your problem definition, or we can say your problem objectives. Next is the block diagram of the proposed work. So already I said, even though you are having many modules in your project, the overall block diagram of the entire work should be given first. Then later, in the later slides, you can give 4 separate modules. But after the problem definition, it is good if you are going to give a single block diagram for your entire work. And work done. Actually, this slide is mandatory if you are going for review 1 or 2. That is, the examiners will know on seeing this what the work you have done till review 1 or whatever the work you have done till review 3. Likewise, the progress of your work can be known by the examiners by including this work done. But if it is for the final review, no need for including this work done, because already you might have completed the entire work. So in that case, you can skip the work done slide, but the publication details you can include. So whatever the paper you have published in that particular duration of your project can be mentioned in this slide. Next is the research database. So the database which you have used for your project presentation should be definitely mentioned, and proper citation should be given in this research database. Many of the students may be doing with the medical images. So in that case, which database, online database you have used, from which medical institute you have collected the database. So likewise, that details definitely should be given under research database. Here in this example, I have not gone for any online database. I have collected my own database. So those details I have given here, since it is a speaker recognition system. How many students I have collected, how many speaker signal I have collected, what are the languages, at what age group. So those details elaborately I have given under the research database. Likewise, it is mandatory if you are using any online research database for your project, you have to mention under the research database, and a proper reference should be given in the references section also. Next is sample speech signals. Since this is a speaker recognition system, I have given a sample speech signal. Suppose if you are doing medical images now, that from the database, some sample medical images you projected after this. Then comes the first module. Actually, in this model presentation, 2 modules are there. So this is the first module. So overall block diagram already I have given. Now starting with the first module, once again, if there is a block diagram for module 1, you project it under this. If you see here, this module is for based on vocal features. So what I have done from the website, I have collected a human vocal system. So this I have not directly copied. Instead, I have referred that from that particular link. I have drawn it in Paint and then I have pasted in this PPT. Even though I have drawn on my own, I have given a proper courtesy for that particular image. So likewise, you have to give the proper courtesy and citation for the copied content or redrawn content or even paraphrased content. You see here. So these are the formulas I have used in that particular module. So formulas also from website, from some particular paper, if you are taking that formula, then definitely you have to cite that particular paper. See, Aman Chanda et al. That is more than 3 authors are there. So I have written the first author name and others, which year that particular paper got published. So those details also I have mentioned corresponding to that formula. So these are some of the outputs I got for the first module. You see here, this is a table I have got. So if you are taking table or graph, definitely you will be focusing either on a minimum value or maximum value. If I am saying efficiency, definitely it should be maximum. If I am saying error, it should be definitely minimum. So likewise, based on your project, based on your application, you will be focusing towards a minimum value or maximum value. In this project, I want a minimum value, minimum intraclass variance values I want to focus. So what I have done, I have made a highlight for those minimum values. So with that, it will be easy for me to get a inference for this particular table. So instead of blindly giving the values, it is always good to highlight those values for which feature, for which wavelet it is giving a minimum value. So likewise, you can highlight, and below the table and the figure, you can give a proper inference. You see, this is the next table for calculating the sensitivity. So here also I have used a formula, sensitivity formula, which I have copied from the net. So that link I have given as a courtesy. Then the inference I have given below the table. So these are some of the examples. You see here. So few values are finding out a dip. So sensitive values, some values are coming minimum. So what is the reason? That physical interpretation also I have included here. So first line is the inference and second line is the physical interpretation. So why that particular value is low? So likewise, if you are mentioning a table or a figure, you should give an inference and a physical interpretation for evaluating your project presentation as excellent, so that you will get a maximum of 3 marks. And always see to that, if you are giving a comparison table, there should be a legend in the figure. So after the first module, you give a summary. So instead of giving a final conclusion, final summary for the entire system, if you are having 4 modules, after each and every module, you better give a summary. So this is the summary for the first module. And what is the need for going for the second module? What is the link from the first module to the second module? So that link also should be given as the last line of your summary. You see here, this first system is having a drawback. So I am going for the next ranking system. So this is the need for the next system. Likewise, I have given the need for the next module. So likewise, there should be a logical progression between one slide and the next slide. So this is the second module I have given, the second module and its corresponding block diagram. So the formulas I have used. So formulas, once again, I have copied from Wikipedia. So I have given a proper citation for that. So this is another formula I have used. So this is the table. For table, you give a inference, and it is always better to take a white background. So for tables also, instead of taking colors, you take a white background table and the column headings you highlight with a different color so that it will be highlighted. The same way, if you're giving column heading, if you're using a metric, it is mandatory to use the unit. Here I have mentioned accuracy, so I have given a percentage symbol. Likewise, energy, if you are giving now, you give it millijoules or millijoules. Likewise, the unit you have to definitely give for the metric you have calculated. And this is a screenshot I have taken. And if you people are doing in VLSI, most of the screenshot, that is simulation screenshot, you will not get a proper waveform. We cannot able to see in the PowerPoint. So everything will be like a line. So in that case, what you do, you take the screenshot and with the pointer, with the art, you make a arrow mark and point what it is, so that we can able to, the audience or the examiners, whoever is listening to your project presentation, can able to understand, okay, this is the clock pulse, okay, this is the output of this flip-flop. So likewise, you put the arrow mark using the art and paint or art, and you highlight what is that particular value. So here also I have mentioned, this is a screenshot. So I have marked Euclid, this is the value for Euclidean distance, this is the value for Manhattan distance. So likewise, instead of just giving the numbers, I have given this group is for this distance calculation, this group is for this particular distance calculation. So likewise, you highlight your simulation screen so that the audience will know what you have projected. The same way, after this figure also, I have given an inference. So you see here in the figure also, x-axis it is speaker. So speaker we can't give the unit, whereas for the y-axis we have the average accuracy, which is in percentage. So always you see to that, either in a table or in a graph, if you are using any metric, definitely there should be a unit. So this is the summary for the second module. So what is the output of this particular module? Alone, you write it as a summary. Next comes the conclusion. So the conclusion of your entire work, if you're having 4 modules, then the final conclusion of the entire work should be given here. So what is the output of the module 1? What is the output for the module 2? So likewise, 4 modules, if you're having, for all the 4 modules, you give a common conclusion slide, and it should be followed with the future work. If some other person, some other juniors or some other person is going to take up your project, you should give a future enhancement. So in what way your project can be extended to others. So for that, you should give a future scope to the other researchers. So likewise, you should give a few points for the future scope. So this is how you should conclude your project presentation. So this is regarding the reference. I already told, whichever paper you have referred, whichever formula you have copied, whichever figure you have copied. So whatever may be, a proper reference should be given in the reference side. You see, the same way, if more than 3 authors are there, definitely even 10 authors are there, you should write all the 10 authors' name in this reference session, and this reference should follow a IEEE format. So if you do not know IEEE format, you can browse from the net, or else this is the format. First, you should write the author's name, full author's name, list of authors you should write, followed by the title of the paper, followed by the journal name. So if few journals will be having DOI number, so that number also you can give, in which volume it got published, which issue number, what are the page numbers, everything you have to give under the reference session. So this should follow a IEEE format. Even the website, if you are referring, that website link also you should give under the reference session. The same way you see references is continued for 3-4 slides. So I have given a CONTD. So likewise, if more than 2 slides are following the same title, you give with a continue. And it should be followed with a thank you slide. So this is the model PowerPoint presentation for your project. So few highlights once again I will give. First, we discussed about the performance indicators for evaluating your project presentation. The first performance indicators for ethics, which is proper citation or reference for figures and contents. So figures, even if you're redrawing, I said you have to give a proper courtesy. Contents, if you're copying, it should be paraphrased and then only it should be copied in your project presentation. Even though you're doing paraphrasing, that reference should be given in the reference session. So likewise, you have to give throughout your project presentation following the ethics. Next, I said about the individual and teamwork. So when you're doing as a team, both the team members should have equal contribution during the presentation as well as during the question and answer session, so that they will get good marks. Then I said about communication. Whenever you are doing project presentation, there should be a logical progression. That is, one slide and the next slide should be interrelated. There should be a correlation between the slides. So likewise, you should arrange the slides and you have to present so that the audience will understand in an easy way. Then you have to listen. So not only conveying, you also should listen patiently to the questions raised by the audience as well as the examiners with a confidence. Next, you should not show any face expression also. So likewise, you have to patiently listen and you have to question and answers. Then good pronunciation you should give with good eye contact, confident, and your presentation should be easily understandable to both technical and non-technical audience. I said already. So even the basics you have to say what it is so that those people, non-technical people, will understand, okay, what is this project about, and they will understand, okay, this is a project. So likewise, they will understand. So from the basic, you start explaining in detail about your project. Next, when you're including figures and tables, it should adhere to the format. So if you're going to give inference below each and every tables and figures, you should give inference as well as the physical interpretation is mandatory. So why that particular value got reduced, why that particular value is maximum in that case. So likewise, you give the physical interpretation also along with the inference. Next is the audio video demonstration. So either after each every module or at the end, you can give a video audio demonstration. So these are the main highlights I focus in this session. So next points to remember. So these are some of the points when you're going to prepare your project presentation. You just make a note. So title slide I said. So 3 things should be there. That project title, the team member's name should be given with the registration number. If you're writing the staff name, they should write the title. That is Dr., Mr., Mrs. Don't give just the staff name. So you give with respect, like Mr., Mrs., Doctor. So likewise, you give a title for the staff name and it should be followed with the qualification. What is the degree, highest degree you give, followed with the designation. It is regarding the title slide and present everything as points. Some of you might have given as abstract. Don't give the abstract in your presentation, project presentation. Abstract you can include in your project documentation, not in the project presentation. So only as points you have to project in your PowerPoint. And if I am saying point, that also should not exceed more than 2 lines. So likewise, you split the points and you present in your project presentation. Then main points you always highlight with different color, and the color combination what you're selecting should be in an appealing way. So likewise you select the colors, it should be in a pleasant way. Likewise you select the colors and the main points always you highlight. If you see here also in this slide, I have highlighted the main points. So with different color you highlight the main points so that the audience or the examiners will see that particular point and they will know the main points about your project. Next, when you're writing comment statements, points, you always justify. Justify in the sense it is a tool present in the toolbar under paragraph, that is center, left, just left align, right align. Likewise, justify is also one of the bar you can find out in the toolbar, that you select the contents and you do justify. So it will give a clean look for your presentation. Neatly it will be aligned to the left and right side. All the contents I have presented here also I have done justify. So it will look neat. The same way you always select a white background. Instead of going for different colors, always select a white background for your slides as well as tables. So it will be more professional. It will look more professional when you are going for a white background. Then uniform font style. So if you see my slide itself, this presentation itself, all my titles are following a same font size with same color. All my contents will be following the same font style and same font color. So likewise, if you are following, if you are taking one format, the same format you follow throughout your presentation. So it will give a neat look for your presentation. It will be uniform. When you move the slides continuously, it will look a uniform look. So always you follow a same font style and the same font color. Then if you're taking a tables, always don't forget to highlight the column headings. And if I am saying column heading means definitely if there is unit, you have to mention the unit also. and what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, that also you try to give it with some other color so that it can be supported for your inference. Even at times, if you forget to say that point, on seeing the highlighted value, you can able to easily say this is the inference, so this is getting a minimum value. That comparison can be easily made when you are going to highlight the values in the tables. So already I said mention the units for the metrics used. So even in the figures, don't forget to mention the metrics in the figures and tables. And tables, don't copy as image. Few of you will be pasting the tables from Paint and you will be pasting in the PPT. So it will not be having good clarity. So always when you're doing a project presentation, you insert a new table and you type the values with white background. So it will look neat. Then in the reference section, you always follow IEEE format. That is author name, all the author's name, followed by the title of the paper, followed by the journal in which that paper got published, followed by the DOI number or ISSN number or the volume, issue number, then the year and the page number. So likewise, you follow a standard IEEE format in the reference section. And main thing, don't forget to insert the page number for all the slides, so that if any queries is raised by the audience, then they can say, so in that page number, I am having one doubt. So you please go to the page number. So we can easily go to the page number. So always it is better to include a page number for all the slides. I think this session will be useful for you in your project presentation. All the very best. Thank you.